This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of No Waco. This is your host, Debbie. Welcome back to another episode of No Waco. I'm your host, Debbie, and today we have some very special guests here in the studio. Go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Well, thank you for having us, Debbie. I'm Melissa Pardun.
Oh, and I'm Julian Rosas.
Yeah, we're here to represent Maker's Edge, Makerspace, which is a makerspace, a collaborative DIY space here in Waco, Texas.
All right, amazing. Thank you guys so much for coming on today. We're so excited to have you here on the 21st floor of the Waco building.
Yes.
One of the first questions I ask my guests anytime they're new on the podcast is, what brought you to Waco, or what is your Waco journey?
Ours is a long one. Because I'm older than him. But so my husband and I got married New Year's Eve of 95.
Mm-hmm.
And we moved to Waco the next week.
Wow.
And we've been here ever since. We thought we would be in Waco for 2 years. Got a full ride to Baylor for my grad school and thought we'd be here 2 years, kind of establish ourselves. And then, like couples do, move on. And then we ended up just falling in love with Waco. Fell in love with Waco. The people, the place, the community, the churches, just the environment here is so much different than where we came from, and just loved it. And so we decided to stay.
Yay! Well, we're so glad you're here. And you, Julian?
So I am a Waco native. I born and raised, everything. I did leave Waco for a little bit to go get my degree in studio art, and then I came back. The main thing that as a Waco native that I love is, of course, our culture and history. A lot of the history that a lot of people don't really realize that Waco has, and there's a lot more that we're known for. Like, for example, the suspension bridge was one of the first in, I think, our nation that was actually built. People, always think, oh, suspension bridge. Oh, we're thinking Golden Gate Bridge and all that, right? Nope, we were one of the first, I believe.
Yeah.
And so it's history points like that I really am proud of as a local Wacoan. And just as Melissa said, the people, all the places that we have here, we're not big like Dallas or Houston, but we do have our own share of novelties, I should say.
I love that. And that's absolutely amazing. And we're so glad you're here today. And we're so glad that Maker's Edge is here.
Thank you.
I know you already explained a little bit, but tell me all about it and give me the who, the what, and the when, and how we can find out more about you.
Sure. So Maker's Edge, like I said, is a makerspace, which is really just a fancy way of saying a collaborative workspace. I explain it to be a gym for nerds. So you pay a membership fee. You get to participate as much as you want in a space for that one simple fee a month. But we don't require any exercise. So we have wood shop tools, metal shop tools. We focus mainly now on electronics, small projects. Pottery is a big one right now.
We have been trying to expand our jewelry and metalsmithing area, and then also putting focus on more of our digital fabrication as well. And the one thing that, people, when we ask them if they come in for a tour, have you heard of a makerspace before? Just because that's a term that's not really passed around in common conversation. The way I usually explain to people, because sometimes we get asked, well, are y'all a chain? Do y'all have other locations? Makerspace, from my experience, and Melissa may agree with me, is that that term it's a very general term, kind of like grocery store.
Yeah.
But we are our own entity, and each makerspace that you'll find in different cities, communities, they all aim to serve based on what the need is of what people want. Yeah. So we have a variety of different things, but we've developed that over the past 9 years.
It's been 9 years.
Wow.
9 years.
And based on what people have, told us, what we feel that based on, tools that we feel people could get a lot of use out of.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a makerspace in general, I could make this an hour and a half long podcast if I went back, because I can talk forever. But a makerspace has only been around as a concept for about 20, 30 years.
Wow.
And in general, they were all nonprofit, either started by the government or started by educational centers, colleges, or a bunch of people got together,
Like artist
started
residencies,
started a nonprofit, and they just kind of use the tools collaboratively. We are one of the very few mom and pop shops, independently owned and operated. We chose that for a particular reason. We just thought it was the best way to ensure that the tools were properly working and maintained, that it was staffed, that we could do education the way we wanted to do, that we could provide mentors for the people who came into the space, and then that we could really utilize the expertise that we have in the community. What we believe in our hearts is the more interdisciplinary that people are in their making, the better everyone gets.
I love that.
And so we just have a space where we love to share with people who maybe we don't know two hoots about what they're doing, but we certainly have something we can share, and we certainly have something we can learn.
I love that. And we're here today because you guys just got into a bigger space. You guys are moving, and then we have summer camps coming up.
Yes.
So tell me about some of those things.
Yeah, so we did just move locations. We spent 8 years over on 18th Avenue, but we are now co-located with Triple Win over on Webster Avenue and 12th in that area. And we're very excited. It gives us a much more expanded capacity. You know, what Julian was alluding to earlier is that we are membership driven. And so we started with an idea of what people would want. But every 6 months to 12 months, we evaluate what tools are working, what are not, what do we need to get rid of, what do people want us to expand into. Pottery was not a
I'm
thing
excited
we
about
even
pottery.
thought about.
Yep.
I'm going to have to borrow your kiln.
But we had no pottery to start with. And we focused a lot on 3D printing. And what we've seen over the years is 3D printing has kind of
Stepped out.
And we now do a lot of CNC work and pottery. So it's always evolving based on what the people want. So, but we are now co-located with Triple Win. Allows us to do a lot more of commission work, a lot more of business integration, and member-driven projects and business startups is really kind of. So that's more of my husband's side. He's the engineer of this part, and my passion is really on the education side for the students and doing the STEM work. Every summer we've had summer camps that are STEM driven, and it used to be we would do 8 camps. And every camp focused on a different portion of the space.
Wow.
So that if you attended all of them,
you would know everything.
You touched every tool in the space. We have honed that down a lot. A lot of kids are not interested in woodworking these days, that sort of thing. So this summer, we're really focusing in on electronics, microcontrollers, coding, robotics, that sort of thing.
Even to some basic engineering as well.
Wow.
Yes. And because I think that's really where people are at right now, is they're really interested in learning, how can I come up with an idea of something I want to do, and then how do I take that to completion? Kids think that way too.
I love that. And you guys have a whole list of camps that you get brought.
Yes.
So tell me about when they are, how we can sign up, how our kids can get involved.
The first camp that we will be starting with in June. It's not, I believe, June.
The second week of June.
Second week of June is our MakerBot Battle Camp. And that one was the last camp we did last year. That one, I would say, was probably one of our most successful.
It was, and it was one of the most fantastical. We had never done it before. Crazy. My husband's a huge fan of BattleBots on TV, you know, and has always wanted to do that.
I've watched the competitions before.
We've watched it multiple times in my house.
Last year, our camp staff, they would put on the BattleBots videos for the kids to watch. They really get them.
I love that. I love that.
Oh, when the end of the week came and we actually did our competition where the kids put their bots in the arena, they were all in.
Yeah, so we built a glass encased arena that has real contraptions on the floor to kind of things that they have to get by. But it is a battle. So we have different teams during the camp week, and they collaborate on how to do their robot. Although I will say every camper goes home with their own battle bot at the end. And then they battle.
Wow.
And we do that partway through.
So sometimes they take home pieces. No, okay.
But his point on the engineering is we're trying to teach basic concepts of entry to engineering, the ideation to completion of an idea. And so we give them halfway through the camp and the ability to what did or didn't work on their BattleBot, go back, do redesigns, and try again for the final competition. Every camp, we are non-traditional in this sense. Every camp has a competition. There's a winner and a loser.
Okay.
There are prizes. It is getting back to sort of the grassroots of what it means to be. We say at our place, we are not afraid to fail because failure teaches us how to win. And so we're just constantly evolving, even in our camps, and helping kids. I chew out my interns and teachers. We do not do things for students.
Yeah.
We allow them to fail on their own and then help them to succeed.
I love that.
And because kids, it's so interesting when any kid in our space is capable of touching every tool in a space. You just have to be more careful. You can be more supervised with them. You have to take a little bit longer to educate, and you have to have a lot more guidance. But if you create the right parameters, we've had camps in the past where we've welded with kids, where we've done woodworking with kids. Kids are capable if you require them to rise to the occasion.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. And that's amazing. And then you guys have a superhero training camp.
We do. That's the next one.
And that one, I feel there's a lot of potential to that one. I feel could delve into almost a lot of different points in STEM. You could delve into robotics and when they're making gadgets or chemistry, all of that.
Yeah, it's more for our creative side of makers because we also take them through the creative side of creating your own superhero.
Wow.
From the name to the costume to the what kind of powers it has, and then trying to figure out what kind of gadgets you want to make for your superhero. And then in the end, we have every camp has a contest. And so, so it is geared more towards those kids who have sort of the creative side of their brain going on.
I love that. I want my own superhero costume.
I know, right? Who doesn't? Hello.
And then, of course, coding and everything, like you guys were saying before.
Yes, the Crazy Coder Camp we've done in the past several times, actually.
Yeah.
And that one, it introduces kids to, I believe what's called block coding. We use Scratch program to do that, and the kids learn the basics to this is how what you do when you put these two blocks together, and this is what the computer will read. And then from there, their main project throughout the week was to create a computer game, and then the competition was they tried to see if they could beat each other's games.
And then the games are set up in such a way that they get to take the games home with them because they function on cell phones.
Yeah.
It's an app driven program base. What I love about all our camps is, a lot of places you go when they teach these things, I'll air quote, when they teach these things, what they're really doing is just telling kids how to do it. But they really don't start at the basics as to why these things work. In our coding camp, for instance, we go back to dots, ones and zeros.
Yeah,
we start at the very beginning. And then we talk about circuitry and why things have to flow in a certain path, why things have to be set up a certain way. And then we actually do a little bit of soldering to explain the process of that circuitry and why it works and why it's not dangerous for you and, that sort of thing. And then, we take that out because I think the more, or at least it was true for me, the more I understand why things work, the more I feel I can engage and continue on with what I'm doing.
I love that. Well, if you guys need some volunteers, sign me
there
up.
you go.
I'll be in. I'll be there
By the
helping.
way, we always need volunteers.
Well, that's amazing. So with that, of course, you guys are a membership. How much do you guys do your memberships for? How much your camp? Where can people find out how to get signed up? All the fun things.
That is Julian on the social media.
Okay, so I guess I take over from here. As far as summer camps go, the camps themselves are registered through MCC's continuing ed program. If you go on to any of our social media pages and go to the website link that's listed there, or on any of the posts that we put out, the link that's listed with them, Just follow that link and you will see a tab that says Maker's Edge Summer Camp Sign Up. And so you'll just click that. You'll pick the camp that you want and reserve your spot. And one bonus that I would love to mention is we have a special Maker Summer Bundle going on. So if a parent signs their kid up for a summer camp, they get to pick 1 month between June, July, and August to have one free membership with their child.
Wow.
So they get one adult and one youth membership. And so then that way, if the kid finds a project that they would like to maybe continue working on, or maybe explore a certain field of STEM even further, or if they just have a fun project they want to do, then they can continue doing so outside of camp.
Yeah. Well, I absolutely love that. That's amazing. With that, we're going to take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back.
All right.
And now for a word from our sponsors.
Hey y'all, I'm April,
Hi, I'm Caroline.
and we have a new podcast for you. What's it called, Caroline?
Bloody Happy Hour.
It's going to be your new favorite guilty pleasure. We're going to talk about some bloody stuff, serial killers, true crime,
Rape.
rapists. Why not join us? We'll have a good time.
You literally never know. I don't know what I'm going to say. Bloody Happy Hour. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Hey, I'm Blair.
And I'm Brittany. And we're the host of
By the Cover Podcast.
We cover everything from mysteries, thrillers, romance, chick lit, and even some smut.
Don't forget the smut.
Yeah.
We're so excited to get this thing going and share this with you guys. We've been talking about this for months, and it's finally happening.
Yes.
Special shout out to Rogue Media for helping us with this.
For sure. For sure. You can find us on Instagram at bythecover_podcast.
You can also find us on Facebook and TikTok, so don't forget to give us a follow on those two also.
And we are so excited to dive into some of our favorite books and share those with you.
We can't wait. Hope you love it.
What are we doing here, Rusty? What are we going to do?
Yep, we're doing the King of the Hill Rewatch Podcast.
King of the Hill
Yes, sir.
Rewatch Podcast. Yeah, so we're going to go through one episode at a time. Come along for the ride with us.
Come check it out.
And give me a good like Dale Gribble quote to go out on. Wingo!
Yeah, Wingo.
Wingo!
Wingo.
All right, well, join us for the King of the Hill Rewatch Podcast.
Deep in the heart of Texas, that drinks his brew and he spits his chew. Deep in the heart of Texas, the TV blares but no one cares. Deep in the heart of Texas, here we go.
And now back to the episode. All right, and we're back. So we were just talking about the memberships, how to get involved, and how to get your kiddos signed up for summer camp. With that, when we come back from the break, one of the first questions I love to ask is, why do you think it's so important for you to be in Waco right now, and what would you like to see more of in Waco?
I do see a growth in a lot of the creative community here in Waco. That collective creative mind seems to be expanding like a lot.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I usually encourage, and this is whenever I have had both adults and youth students, and even when we had new members who were a lot of the time they're not sure what they want to make. You don't have to be an artist. You don't have to be an engineer. A lot of this stuff really is just learning something new.
Yeah.
And then just practicing with it. And so, and like Melissa was saying, there is no failure. It's a lot of trial. It always is trial and error. And so that is something that I would love to see more of, is that we express, that drive to even people who are wanting to explore their more creative side, and just not to, be afraid of that. And, Maker's Edge is, of course, always here to support people who are either experts or novices in any field.
I love that.
Well, now that I consider myself a Texan, I was told once I was here for 25 years, I could call myself a Texan.
I say Wacoan is like a term you have to like own.
And
like once you
Wacoan,
call
yes,
yourself a Wacoan,
yes.
then you're a Wacoan
Yes.
too.
Actually, I tell people you are a Texan when you start saying y'all.
Oh, there you go.
Because
I might be in trouble.
I had a friend who moved here. I think she lived in California. She said she would never. She told me when we first met, "Don't ever think I'll ever say y'all." About a couple months later, she said y'all, and I was like, "You said it."
You're in.
But I've seen a lot of changes in Waco. When we first moved here, there were not a lot of community resources doing engagement just out culturally.
Yeah.
And there has been a lot of change in that area. The Arts Fest and the Cultivate 712, and there's just the Art Center. There's just a lot of great things that you can do now that do great programming in Waco. But I think as far as my husband and I, what we would say is we'd like to see a lot more of the science-based or STEM-based of those activities. The very first year we moved to Waco, my husband and I were crazy. We were crazy. We built a 20-foot ditch in our backyard.
Oh my goodness.
And coated it in plastic and filled it with water because we participated in the duck races down in Brazos River. Well, I mean, because we're crazy potato heads. We always have been. But they quit doing that about, I don't know, 15 years ago now. But it's things like that. We used to have an annual duck race here in Waco. And what happened to that?
Hey, now we have the Imagination Library duck race with rubber duckies.
But there is the Science Fest. There are some great things happening in Waco, but it would be great to expand that in such a way that not just shows kids, but actually gives them opportunities to participate in these activities.
That's absolutely amazing. And it really is like you've been in Waco for such a long time. You've been able to see that shift in dynamic. And especially being in the arts and the STEM zone, I feel like there has been a lot of growth, as you mentioned, Julian, with our, people in our community, small businesses, hobbyists, entrepreneurs, artists, creatives, all the people looking for these outlets. What would you say is your overall mission, and what would you like to get back to the Waco community?
Well, that's what we've been focused on for the last 9 years. I took a year sabbatical from my work to just focus on the business plan and start up this business. And it wasn't because we were trying to make money or because we thought we were so smart. It was really just we had a passion to bring to Waco a place where you could come and have fun with other people who like to make with their hands. Our wall says that we are made in the image of a creator. We're meant to create. And everything in culture is beating that down. We don't get to do shop in school anymore. I was telling someone, my husband and I met in junior high, and we did 4 years of shop together in high school. And
romantic over the
well, and it got us out of school on the same days, but for FFA. But we are very passionate about making on our own.
Yeah.
We have a joke at my house. Oh, my husband will probably kill me. It's called the Rick Factor.
Oh no. That's okay. We have right engineering at my house, so
it'll cost twice as much, take 4 times as long, and come out half as good. And yet we will choose it every time because there's something valuable in that. And to this day, our kids are now upper 20s, mid 20s. And one of the fondest memories they have is it took us 4 years to build our house. But they think fondly on that. Well, we don't necessarily, but they do. But there's something when you can connect that for a child, that idea that they were made to add to human capacity around us, that we have that innate need inside of us because our Creator made us that way. And then give them an example of how to do it, because I don't think they even see that around them anymore.
Yeah.
And then give them the space and capacity to do it. And that is the part that I'm really passionate about.
That's amazing. That's a beautiful mission. I love that. And is there anything you'd like to add to that?
I think she nailed it.
He's the one that keeps us running.
Oh, well, that's absolutely amazing. And it does sound like this really has been a community initiative of bringing all these people together and creating a space for that creativity and for that continuation.
Yeah.
With that, is there anyone you would like to shout out that's helped you along this journey?
We've had so many people help us along this journey. It really has been phenomenal. And it's too bad my husband is not here because he could name them all. He's better with names. But Jane Herndon is the one that sat down with me for like a year and helped me really knock out this business plan and think about, because neither one of us are really business minded.
Yeah.
But she is. And she really helped us think through that process. And First National Bank of McGregor, but now they're here in Waco.
Yeah.
They have been excellent to us and really excellent. I say they've been excellent to us. I have zero complaints about my banker.
Wow.
And, Baylor has been very supportive of us. And we've had a lot of people who have come to our space and then start a business out of our space and have now moved beyond us.
I love that.
And so just all of those people then, I'd say thank you because they all say that we contributed to that and we're part of that. And that's what makes what we do special for us.
Yeah.
It's really knowing what people take away once they leave us. Because, it's a very transient community. A lot of people spend a year or two and then they move on, or they become successful enough to supply their own tools or whatever it is, leave school and move away.
Yeah.
But each one has contributed to us in a unique way that we wouldn't have had if they hadn't stepped foot in our door.
Oh, I absolutely love that. And that's amazing. And I always say, you also got to shout out your mom, your dog, and your grandma. So
none of them live in Texas.
Well, okay.
And they'll never see this.
That's okay.
But yes, our family is actually, both of us come from basically farm families.
Yeah.
And if it weren't for the work ethic and the ideals that our parents had set on us, we wouldn't have never reached our 30s thinking that we could do it, and that there was a higher reason for doing it than just owning a business and making money.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. And of course, last but not least, plug yourselves. Again, where I can find you, find more information about you, all the things.
Well, I think Julian nailed it. The best way to find us, because we just moved, is to come see us in person down on 12th and Webster at the Triple Win, or to go online. Most of the current stuff that we're doing is on our Facebook or Instagram or our Twitter accounts.
Perfect.
But if you go to Facebook, everything is there. The Maker's Edge is what we're listed at in those places. So just Google the Maker's Edge and you will find us and go to those sites and you'll see what we're doing.
One thing that people will notice is when they go, we still go by Maker's Edge Makerspace, but our new space we have now started referring to as Maker's Edge Creation Studio.
Ooh.
It's kind of a new term that Rick has encouraged us to kind of coin.
I love that.
So, which I think that overall, it's not quite a full makerspace.
Well, it's a full makerspace, but we are shifting the focus of what we are doing. We are focusing now more on collaboration with other communities instead of just internally our membership community.
I love that.
And we're focusing more on commission work and business startup tools, that sort of thing, and a shift towards classes and workshops instead of independent working in the space.
Okay.
And so, that's more of a creation studio because it harkens back to really our first picture of the more you have this interdisciplinary outlook and how to make, the better everyone will be.
Wow. I absolutely love that. And with that, is there anything else you want to share with our listeners today?
No, but we'd be happy to meet you if you like creating.
Yeah, so I would just kind of like to end it off with saying we, our summer camp signups are open, so we please encourage parents to sign their kids up, and we hope that they, will have an amazing time during any of our camps. Maker's Edge is open from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Saturdays, and then we're closed on Sundays. One of the new features that we have to our space is since we are a creation studio, is what we call co-creation. It kind of delves into a little bit of both autonomy and commission work. You come in with an idea, or if you have an idea in progress, and we work with you on an hourly basis to help you complete
you complete your project. It's really sort of, you can just even come in with a goal. Like we had someone come in and say, my child is graduating. I'd like to make them something for graduation. And you know, we just asked them some questions. Well, in the end, would you like something sturdy and physical for them to take? Or are you thinking more conceptually of something pretty or artsy to take? You know, you start there and then you help them kind of come up with a concrete idea of what they'd like to do. And then we have people who will work with them hourly to take their project to completion.
Wow, I absolutely love that. That sounds like an amazing opportunity for people to get involved.
Yeah.
Yep.
And now I'm like, man, I have so many ideas.
Well, there you go. There you go.
Well, just come on by.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on today. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you again. And again, I'm looking forward to it. And I hope people sign up for all the camps, go and check out your new location.
Yes,
go say
absolutely.
hi, go do all the fun things. And if they have a project or are looking forward to maybe making something that they otherwise would not have, they have a place here in Waco that they can do that.
Yes, they do.
Absolutely.
All right. Amazing. Well, thank you guys again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We did it.
Yay!
Wasn't that easy?
Yeah.
Yes,
I
terribly easy.
accidentally bumped it last time because I was like sitting like this, and I kept having to turn my head to look at you guys.
Yeah,
I was
you're
like,
fine.
okay, we got to fix something.
It happens. It happens. We're totally fine. Yeah, let me grab Josh and he'll come and take a picture of us. Do you guys want to be on my Find us everywhere and all social media platforms, KNOW_Waco. Check us out at roguemedianetwork.com and we're on YouTube under Rogue Media Network. Check out nowaco.com.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.